Dome Sports Talk, worldwide, with some news in the world of boxing. So y'all know what time it is. You ain't in a rush to get concussed. Well, some very interesting news, right? Stuff to go under the table. I seen it yesterday. Say, all right, but it's kind of significant. And that's the WBC heavyweight champion Deontay Wilder is the #1 heavyweight in the world according to ESPN and Dan Raphael, and that's good because there's something you wouldn't see, something you think of just how we're reluctant to put Deontay Wilder #1 in anything, right? And the time has come. It's been there a long time ago, really. All you got to do is put him in #1, and then the other ones would have had to fight him, right? That's how my point was the whole time. If you can put somebody else in front of him, that other one won't have to fight him, and people still talking about Deontay Wilder hasn't fought anybody. The dudes that you know that others won't fight, put him in front of them, and that makes everybody, even the casual fans, say, hey, you have to fight him. But they don't do that on purpose. So let me just make sure that's said early so you can know how my attitude might be, right? Deontay Wilder's #1 with ESPN. That's very important because I didn't think that would happen, right? But I think the Dominique Brazil win, how emphatic that was. Another highlight reel knockout for Deontay Wilder. I think it's just, kind of just getting to the point where, man, we about to be silly putting people in front of him all the time. You got Tyson Fury second and Andy Ruiz third, I think. And then they still went with Joshua. My only issue would be Dillian White in front of Louis the Real King Kong Ortiz. Because Dillian White don't want to fight him for some reason. So the one, Ortiz in front of Dillian White, period, until they fight, in my opinion. But other than that, that's a good list. And, I was checking Dan Raphael because I'm on him about what he's up to in the middleweight division because he has, Golovkin still at #2 behind Canelo, right? Golovkin needs to get as far down, like far down, like 8, right? Just because who you fighting, man? Get out of here. Really, you won't try to fight nothing. So just move. Right? It's the only way you're going to make him fight somebody. If you got him still in front of people he won't fight, Jamar Charlo, Demetrius Andrade, stuff like that, which we'll get into in the middleweight video later. But really, that's the only issue because it's his cruiserweight, Alexander Usyk. It is what it is. Next would be Dorticus, and then Brightus after him, where that would be an argument, but that argument is going to be solved because the cruiserweight division, they had a WBSS tournament, right? Solved it. Alexander Usyk is undisputed. Then they get into it a year later. The same people in the tournament plus a couple of others. The best the cruiserweight has to offer, excluding Alexander Usyk. They're back in the tournament and they're in the final. The final was Brightus versus Dorticus. So #2 and 3 will be decided there. But now that Alexander Usyk's up, the winner of that match is the best cruiserweight. Awesome that a division can get that done, isn't it? But anyway, the light heavyweight, Dan Raphael got Wojcik first, I think it is. And then he's following with Kovalev, which is arguably, and then then after that, I'm not sure if Bivol is third or Beterbiev is fourth, like that. That's cool, and I think it's really cool to have Eleider Alvarez at 5th because he knocked Kovalev out, and then got appointed by Kovalev. Normally you throw him in the obscurity, but to keep him 5th to make sure people know, yeah, well somebody else better beat me, and Kovalev we could have a trilogy because actually I did better than he did. He outpointed me and I knocked him out, right? Where's my trilogy fight, by the way, right? So that's good to have him 5th. So, and it's good. And then in super middleweight, it's Callum Smith and then Caleb Plant. Everything is pretty cool except till you get to Golovkin. So it's fair that Deontay Wilder is #1. It's good for the division that he's #1 because people have to see him. That's ESPN. It's not, everybody got their rankings. But it's just good to see him, because people do that reluctantly with Deontay Wilder, and I think it's ridiculous at this point at 41 and old with 40 knockouts. I think that's really, you get up out of here. He should be #1, and Tyson Fury forces Tyson Fury to fight somebody. Like I keep saying, take Ortiz from him, right? Take Ortiz from him. Now, let me go to Anthony Joshua news in this same video so we can go and get it all out the way. Anthony Joshua and Andy Ruiz, they're going to have a fight. Andy Ruiz said he don't want it in the UK, so that ain't happening. But if it were to be in the UK, because Eddie Hearn, the promoters from Joshua, was doing a lot of talking, so if it would be in the UK, it would be on December the 14th in Cardiff, right? Principality Stadium. Cool, if it were to be there. I don't know if that's going to happen, right? But that's what they're saying. The John Ruiz, fight, right, with Anthony Joshua. Anthony Joshua's up against it. I think here's the thing about it too, is you have all day. They're talking end of November, December. You have a long time to train for this guy. I'm thinking he's going to have to do a Rocky 3 type of thing. I know Joshua's training hard for this fight. Let's see if Andy Ruiz is. But there's been some rematches where you think most people, especially casual fans, but a lot of people, I'm gonna go a lot of casual fans. People in the know have a different thing, but a lot of casual fans will think that Anthony Joshua is gonna come back and win this fight, right? He's gonna win this second one, right? Because he's trained for him, he's gonna win him. He's underestimated him, he's gonna win him, win this fight. There's a lot of those, right? And there's been fights recently where that was the case. And I have to do it because David Price gonna fight soon. But David Price, when he lost that first fight to Tony Thompson, he was supposed to win that second fight, right? Got done again, right? I'm just saying, those are fights like that. Remember, David Haye and Tony Bellew. David Haye, I think, man, was one of the baddest dudes. You talking about elusiveness and bringing that and not ever wasting a punch and bringing that real thunder, and you can't really hit him, but he's hitting you. David Haye is a bad dude. So I know the first fight when he was trying to fight because he didn't want to stop, and he's out there and his Achilles is ruptured, trying to fight in that first fight. It was sad for me to watch him try to do, but I understood after the toe incident with Vladimir Klitschko, he couldn't stop. No matter what, he just couldn't stop. And it was like, man, listen, man, a torn Achilles, I'll holler at you in about 6-7 months or whenever. But I ain't out here trying to do that. Right? But he tried to, and so you thought that second fight, after getting all that together, if David Haye is 85%, he's going to take care of Tony Bellew. That didn't happen. Tony Bellew beat him better, right? And to my chagrin, because I think David Haye has the talent. If he would just be healthy, I think David Haye beats Anthony Joshua 2 out of 3 times. That's just me, from what I've seen. So those are fights that you would think, even go way back, Foreman and Frazier. Foreman beat the hell out of Frazier in the first fight. Second fight, people think, Frazier's gonna do better than that, at least, right? But even though, Foreman's a beast, they're gonna do better than that, and he didn't. You know what I'm saying? And Stavern and Wilder. Stavern was the champion. Wilder beat him, right? They fought later. Wilder beat the hell out of him. Second fight. So the second fight for people who have your number is not an easy thing to do. So that's going to be a hard thing for Anthony Joshua, but it just kind of also makes it more significant if he were to turn it around, right? So, in that second fight with Anthony Joshua and Andy Ruiz Jr., it's so significant now. Rematches are a lot of time, but it's very significant because any scenario is good that comes out of it. Any scenario is good. All right, I can get into it further, but we probably will leading up to the fight. But I'm just saying, no matter if Joshua wins, there's all kind of good scenarios out of there. If Andy Ruiz Jr. wins, there's all kind of good scenarios coming out of there. So that's one of them fights just looking forward to big time. So having said that, that's the Joshua news. We're back to Deontay Wilder news. It's great to see Deontay Wilder at #1 on ESPN. He's been #1 here, and a lot of people know who's #1. But it's good to see that because that name carries a little weight. And Dan Raphael could be suspect at times. So for him to have him at #1 for me is a light shocker. Doing sports talk worldwide, and I'm about it.